Imagine stepping outside on a clear evening, when the air carries the gentle coolness of approaching night, and the sky transforms into an infinite canvas of possibility. Above you, thousands of tiny lights pierce through the darkness, each one a distant beacon that has traveled unimaginable distances to reach your eyes. We call them stars, these celestial companions that have watched over humanity since our earliest days. Yet what if everything we think we know about these luminous points of light is merely the beginning of a far more extraordinary story? Tonight, as you settle into comfort and allow your mind to wander along peaceful pathways of contemplation, we invite you to consider a gentle question that has whispered through the corridors of human imagination for millennia. What if stars are something completely different from what we've always believed? What if these familiar lights hold secrets so profound, so beautifully unexpected, that discovering them would change not just our understanding of the universe, but our very perception of our place within it? Picture yourself as a curious traveler, not through space, but through possibility itself. We will journey together through ancient wisdom and modern wonder, through the soft corridors of scientific discovery and the luminous pathways of human imagination. Along the way, we'll explore how different civilizations have interpreted these celestial lights, how our understanding has evolved like a slowly blooming flower, and what remarkable alternatives might exist beyond our current knowledge. The stars above us tonight are the same ones that guided ancient mariners across vast oceans, inspired poets to write verses of longing, and sparked the first flames of scientific curiosity in minds that dared to ask what lies beyond. Yet perhaps these points of light are not what they seem. Perhaps they are windows or signals or something so beautifully other that we haven't yet developed the words to describe them. As we begin this gentle exploration, allow your breathing to slow and deepen. Feel the weight of the day dissolving as we prepare to consider possibilities that exist at the very edge of wonder. The journey ahead will be like drifting on a calm river of ideas, where each bend reveals new landscapes of thought, and every reflection on the water's surface shows us something unexpected about the nature of light, existence, and the profound mystery that surrounds us each night when darkness falls. The evening sky has always been humanity's first book, written in points of light that tell stories older than recorded history. Before there were telescopes to peer into cosmic distances, before computers could calculate orbital mechanics, our ancestors looked upward with eyes unclouded by modern assumptions and saw in the stars not merely distant suns, but living presences that participated in the grand drama of existence itself. In those ancient times when the night sky blazed with pristine clarity, unmarred by artificial light, the stars seemed closer somehow, more intimate in their relationship with earthbound observers. People would lie on their backs in desert sands or mountain meadows, watching the slow wheel of constellations as it turned through the seasons, and they would speak of the stars as old friends, as guides, as ancestors who had taken their place in the eternal dance of the heavens. Consider how different our relationship with the stars was then. Without the veil of electric illumination that now shrouds most of our nights, every clear evening revealed the full magnificent tapestry of the Milky Way, that ghostly river of light that flows across the dome of darkness. Ancient peoples could see stars we have forgotten exist, subtle variations in stellar brightness that our modern eyes, adapted to artificial environments, can no longer detect without instruments. They notice things about the stars that we, in our technologically sophisticated age, have largely overlooked. They observe that certain stars seem to pulse with gentle rhythms, like cosmic heartbeats marking time on scales beyond human comprehension. They watched as some stars changed color throughout the night, shifting from blue-white to golden-yellow to deep red as they moved across the sky. And they interpreted these changes not as atmospheric effects, but as expressions of stellar mood or stellar communication. Long before telescopes pierced the veil of distance, long before scientific instruments could measure the light of distant suns, our ancestors looked upward with the same sense of wonder that fills us today. They saw in the stars not merely points of light, but stories, guides, maps, and mysteries that connected the earthly realm to something far greater. In their patient observations, preserved in stone and story across countless generations, we find perspectives on stellar nature that invite us to expand our own understanding. In the gentle valleys of ancient Mesopotamia, where rivers flowed like silver ribbons through fertile lands and the night sky stretched vast and unobstructed above agricultural settlements. Early astronomers developed some of humanity's first systematic observations of the night sky. These patient watchers, often priests or scholar scribes who combined spiritual duties with careful observation, spent countless nights tracking the movements of celestial bodies across the star-scattered dome of heaven. To these ancient observers, stars were far more than distant physical objects. They were divine messengers, eternal beings that held the secrets of fate and fortune, cosmic scribes writing the will of the gods across the celestial parchment of night. They noticed that certain stars seemed to dance together in patterns, moving across the sky in stately processions that marked the passage of seasons with clockwork precision that surpassed any earthly timepiece. The Mesopotamian understanding of stars as divine communicators reflected a worldview where heaven and earth existed in constant dialogue. They developed complex systems of stellar observation that allowed them to predict not only agricultural seasons and optimal times for planting and harvest, but also the fortunes of kings, the outcomes of battles, and the rise and fall of civilizations. Their star catalogs, preserved on clay tablets that have survived thousands of years, reveal an understanding of stellar behavior that was both scientifically precise and spiritually profound. These ancient astronomers recorded their findings with meticulous care, creating documents that read like correspondence between Earth and sky. They wrote of stars that appeared and disappeared according to mysterious schedules, of stellar groups that seemed to maintain complex relationships with one another, and of celestial events that preceded significant changes in earthly affairs. Their careful attention to celestial rhythms revealed something remarkable. The sky was not a static dome, but a dynamic tapestry, woven with threads of light that told stories of time itself. In their tablets and scrolls preserved like pressed flowers of ancient thought, we find references to stars as the writing of the sky, celestial script that recorded the thoughts of the divine. This beautiful metaphor suggests that they perceived the arrangement and movement of stars as a form of cosmic language, a message system operating on scales of space and time that dwarfed human affairs yet somehow remained relevant to earthly existence. Perhaps these early astronomers, with their reverent attention to the heavens, perceived something about stars that our modern instruments have yet to detect. Perhaps their understanding of stars as conscious messengers, as divine beings engaged in cosmic communication, points toward truths about stellar nature that transcend our current mechanical explanations. Their patient observations, conducted without any technological aids beyond the naked eye and simple measuring instruments, achieved levels of accuracy that still impress modern astronomers. The Babylonian calendar, based entirely on careful observation of stellar and planetary movements, remained accurate for centuries without requiring adjustment. Their ability to predict eclipses, planetary alignments, and seasonal changes with remarkable precision suggests that they had tapped into something fundamental about the relationship between celestial and terrestrial cycles, something that went beyond mere mechanical calculation to touch upon deeper patterns of cosmic organization. Moving westward through time, we encounter the Greek philosophers who brought a different kind of wonder to their contemplation of the stars. The Greeks, with their love of geometry and mathematics, their passion for rational inquiry and systematic observation, approached the stars as puzzles to be solved, mysteries to be understood through the application of human reason and careful measurement. Aristotle proposed that stars were fixed in crystalline spheres, perfect and unchanging, eternal fixtures in a cosmos designed according to principles of mathematical harmony. His vision of stellar realms as regions of perfection, immune to the change and decay that characterized earthly existence, reflected a deep intuition about the nature of cosmic order. While modern astronomy has moved far beyond the crystalline spheres, there remains something compelling about Aristotle's sense that stars exist in a realm of reality fundamentally different from our terrestrial experience. Pythagoras spoke of the music of the spheres, a cosmic harmony created by the movement of celestial bodies as they traced their paths through space. According to Pythagorean understanding, each celestial body produced a musical tone as it moved through its orbit, and the combined effect of all these stellar voices created a cosmic symphony that, while inaudible to most human ears, formed the fundamental harmonic structure underlying all existence. This concept of stellar music suggests an understanding of stars as active participants in cosmic creation, rather than passive objects moving through empty space. The Pythagorean vision of a musical universe, where mathematical relationships found expression through stellar harmonies, points toward possibilities that contemporary science is only beginning to explore through studies of gravitational waves and electromagnetic resonances that reveal the universe to be far more acoustically active than previously imagined. What strikes us as we drift through these ancient Greek perspectives is how each philosophical school's understanding reflected their deepest beliefs about the nature of reality itself. The Greeks saw perfection and mathematical harmony in the stars, perhaps intuiting something essential about stellar existence that transcends our current understanding of nuclear fusion and gravitational collapse. Their vision of stars as eternal, perfect, and harmoniously related suggests an appreciation for aspects of stellar nature that purely mechanistic explanations may overlook. The Platonic tradition went even further, suggesting that stars were living beings, cosmic animals possessed of divine intelligence and eternal life. In Plato's Timaeus, stars are described as divine creatures created by the cosmic craftsman to serve as timepieces and guides for earthly existence, but also as conscious entities in their own right, capable of thought and perception on scales incomprehensible to human awareness. This conception of stars as living beings, as cosmic animals or divine intelligences, may seem quaint to modern scientific sensibilities, yet it raises profound questions about the nature of consciousness and the possibility that awareness might manifest in forms and on scales far removed from biological existence. If consciousness is indeed a fundamental property of the universe, rather than an emergent property of complex matter, then perhaps the ancient Greeks intuited something true about stellar nature that our current scientific paradigm has temporarily forgotten. In the lands where the Nile flows like a ribbon of life through golden sands, where the desert meets the fertile valley in dramatic contrast, Egyptian astronomers developed their own intimate relationship with the stellar realm. To them, stars were the souls of the blessed, dwelling in eternal peace in the body of the sky goddess Nut. Each night, as darkness embraced the earth like a gentle blanket, these celestial souls would begin their journey across her star-spangled form. The Egyptian understanding of stars as transformed consciousness, as the eternal aspect of beings who had transcended physical existence, reflects a sophisticated appreciation for the relationship between matter and awareness. Their elaborate burial practices, their careful preservation of the physical body, their detailed maps of the afterlife journey, all of these cultural developments were intimately connected to their observations of stellar movements and their understanding of stars as destinations for consciousness after physical transformation. The precision of Egyptian astronomical observations still amazes modern scholars. Their ability to align massive pyramids with stellar positions, to predict the annual flooding of the Nile based on the rising of certain stars, and to maintain accurate calendars across thousands of years suggests a relationship with the stars that went beyond mere observation to achieve something approaching intimate communion. Egyptian star maps, painted on the ceilings of tombs and temples, reveal a cosmology where earthly existence and stellar existence were understood as different phases of a continuous journey of consciousness. The deceased were not thought to simply disappear at death, but to join the stellar community, becoming part of the cosmic order that guided and protected earthly life. This conception suggests that ancient Egyptians perceived stars not as distant fusion reactors, but as consciousness itself made visible, as points of awareness scattered across the infinite-like thoughts in the mind of the cosmos. The Egyptian understanding of stellar immortality, their belief that consciousness could transform into stellar existence, implies a view of stars as living entities rather than mechanical objects. Their careful observations of stellar cycles, their integration of astronomical knowledge with spiritual practice, and their understanding of time as circular rather than linear all point toward a perception of stars as participants in cosmic consciousness rather than mere physical phenomena. The hieroglyphic symbol for star, a five-pointed figure that represented divine consciousness and eternal existence, appears throughout Egyptian religious texts in contexts that suggest stars were understood as focal points of cosmic awareness, places where divine intelligence concentrated itself for the purpose of guiding earthly evolution. This symbolic understanding of stars as concentrated consciousness finds echo in contemporary theories about information and awareness as fundamental properties of the universe. Across the vast Pacific, on a chain of volcanic islands that emerged from oceanic depths like stepping stones between continents, Polynesian navigators developed perhaps the most intimate practical relationship with stars that human civilization has ever achieved. These master wayfinders, who could navigate across thousands of miles of open ocean using only the stars as guides, developed an understanding of stellar behavior that went far beyond mechanical knowledge to achieve something approaching personal relationship. Polynesian navigation traditions treat stars as living guides, each with its own personality, wisdom, and preferred methods of communication. Master navigators speak of developing relationships with specific stars, learning to read their moods and messages as they guide voyagers across vast ocean expanses. This intimate understanding of stars as conscious guides suggests that stellar lights might indeed be responsive to human awareness, capable of providing guidance and information to those who approach them with proper respect and attention. The traditional Polynesian star compass, a mental map that uses stellar positions and movements to navigate across featureless ocean, represents one of humanity's most sophisticated achievements in applied astronomy. But more than a navigation tool, the star compass embodies a worldview where stars are understood as active participants in human journeys rather than passive reference points. The ability of traditional navigators to sense the presence of distant islands through subtle changes in wave patterns and star positions suggests a level of sensitivity to cosmic influences that modern navigation has largely forgotten. Polynesian creation myths speak of stars as the children of Sky Father and Earth Mother, divine offspring who volunteered to light the darkness and guide their earthly siblings through the vast ocean of space and time. This understanding of stars as family members, as conscious relatives who maintain active relationships with earthly life, reflects a cosmology where consciousness and matter, spirit and physics are understood as different aspects of a unified reality. The Polynesian concept of stellar inheritance, the idea that certain families or individuals inherit particular relationships with specific stars, suggests an understanding of genetic and stellar connections that transcends current scientific explanations. Traditional navigators often speak of learning stellar navigation not just through instruction, but through awakening latent memories of stellar relationships that exist in their bloodline, as if the knowledge of star paths was encoded in human DNA through countless generations of stellar communion. The Mayan astronomers, working from observatories built like stone dreams reaching toward the sky in the jungles of Central America, created calendars and predictions based on stellar movements that proved accurate across vast spans of time. Their mathematical precision, their understanding of cyclical time, and their integration of astronomical observation with spiritual practice created one of humanity's most sophisticated approaches to stellar understanding. The Maya understood time not as a linear progression, but as a series of interlocking cycles, each connected to the movements and relationships of celestial bodies. Their long count calendar, capable of tracking time across millions of years, was based on precise observations of stellar and planetary cycles that revealed the universe to be governed by mathematical relationships of extraordinary beauty and complexity. What strikes us most about Mayan astronomy is how they combined scientific precision with spiritual understanding in ways that suggest stars were perceived as conscious participants in cosmic order rather than mechanical objects following predictable laws. Their detailed observations of stellar movements were embedded in mythological narratives that describe the relationships and interactions between celestial deities, suggesting that stellar behavior might reflect intentional activity rather than mere physical process. Mayan star maps don't just chart stellar positions. They describe the personalities and relationships of stellar beings, the cosmic dramas in which these celestial entities participate, and the ways in which stellar activities influence earthly affairs. This integration of precise mathematical observation with rich mythological understanding suggests that the Maya may have perceived aspects of stellar reality that purely mechanical approaches to astronomy overlook. The Maya spoke of stellar gods who engaged in eternal dances, whose relationships and interactions determined the fate of earthly affairs. Their understanding of Venus as a warrior deity, of the Pleiades as cosmic seeds that determined agricultural cycles, and of the Milky Way as the path of souls traveling to celestial realms, all point toward a perception of stars as conscious entities engaged in meaningful activities rather than random physical phenomena. The remarkable accuracy of Mayan astronomical predictions, their ability to calculate eclipse cycles thousands of years in advance, and their precise tracking of planetary movements suggest that their mythological understanding of stars as conscious beings somehow enabled them to achieve levels of predictive accuracy that rival modern computational astronomy. Perhaps their personification of stellar phenomena reflected genuine insight into aspects of cosmic order that mechanical models cannot fully capture. In the vast landscapes of Australia, where the night sky blazes with unobstructed clarity across red desert expanses and ancient rock formations, the Aboriginal peoples developed dreamtime stories that stretch back tens of thousands of years, making them quite possibly the oldest continuous astronomical tradition in human history. These oral traditions, passed down through countless generations like carefully tended flames, speak of stars as campfires of the ancestors, eternally burning in the sky country where the spirits of the departed continue their existence in peace and wisdom. The Aboriginal understanding of stars as ancestral fires suggests something profound about the relationship between consciousness and light, between awareness and energy. In their cosmology, stars are not distant physical objects but intimate presences, the transformed essence of beings who once walked the earth and now maintain their watch from celestial vantage points. This beautiful conception implies that stars might be interfaces between the realm of the living and the realm of spirit, beacons that guide souls through the transition from earthly existence to whatever lies beyond. The intricate songlines that crisscross the Australian continent, invisible pathways that connect sacred sites and tell the stories of ancestral journeys, find their counterpart in the star patterns that Aboriginal peoples use for navigation and seasonal guidance. These stellar songlines create a cosmic map that mirrors terrestrial geography, suggesting an understanding of Earth and sky as intimately connected dimensions of a single living system. Aboriginal astronomy reveals a sophisticated understanding of stellar behavior that includes observations of variable stars, stellar evolution, and galactic structure that European astronomy didn't achieve until the development of telescopes. Their recognition of the Magellanic Clouds as separate star systems, their tracking of stellar color changes, and their understanding of the Milky Way as a cosmic river populated by ancestral beings all demonstrate astronomical knowledge of remarkable sophistication. But beyond mere observational accuracy, Aboriginal star knowledge embodies a worldview where consciousness and cosmos exist in continuous dialogue. The ancestors who became stars are not understood as distant or inactive, but as ongoing participants in earthly affairs, providing guidance, wisdom, and protection to their descendants through stellar manifestations. This understanding suggests that stars might indeed be conscious entities, maintaining active relationships with biological life across vast spans of space and time. The Aboriginal concept of the dreaming, the eternal present where past, present, and future exist simultaneously, finds expression in their understanding of stars as eternal beings who exist outside linear time while remaining intimately involved in temporal affairs. This perception of stars as bridges between linear and eternal time offers a perspective on stellar nature that transcends both ancient and modern mechanical explanations. Chinese astronomers, working from observatories that doubled as cosmic temples in the heart of the Middle Kingdom, developed the concept of stellar mansions, celestial regions where different types of cosmic energies were believed to reside. Their detailed observations of stellar changes and movements were recorded with such precision that modern astronomers still consult these ancient records when studying historical supernovas and other stellar phenomena. The Chinese understanding of stars as energy centers, as focal points for cosmic forces that influence earthly affairs, reflects a cosmology where heaven and earth exist in constant communication through networks of energy and information that flow between stellar and terrestrial realms. Their concept of celestial harmony, the idea that earthly affairs should align with heavenly patterns, suggests a deep understanding of stars as conscious participants in cosmic order, rather than random accidents of physics. Chinese stellar mythology speaks of the Weaver Girl and the Cowherd, lovers separated by the Milky Way and allowed to meet only once a year when magpies form a bridge across the celestial river. This beautiful story reflects an understanding of stars as participants in cosmic relationships, bound together by forces of attraction and connection that transcend simple gravitational interaction. The Chinese concept of stellar mansions and celestial palaces suggests that stars might indeed be inhabited, not by physical beings, but by aspects of consciousness that have evolved to exist in stellar environments. The detailed astronomical observations of Chinese scholars, combined with their philosophical understanding of cosmic balance, reveals a perception of stars as active participants in maintaining universal harmony. Their tracking of stellar movements wasn't merely for calendar making or navigation, but for understanding the cosmic influences that shape terrestrial events and human destiny. The Chinese understanding of the five palaces, stellar regions associated with different elemental energies and seasonal influences, suggests an appreciation of stars as specialized cosmic organs, each performing specific functions in the maintenance of universal order. This organic understanding of stellar function, where stars are seen as vital organs in a cosmic body, offers an alternative to mechanical models that treat stars as isolated objects following impersonal physical laws. The I Ching, or Book of Changes, integrates astronomical observation with philosophical understanding in ways that suggest stars are perceived as sources of cosmic information, generators of the hexagram patterns that encode the fundamental principles governing change and transformation throughout the universe. This understanding of stars as information sources, as cosmic computers processing and transmitting data about the underlying patterns of reality, anticipates contemporary ideas about the universe as an information processing system. As human understanding began to evolve like flowers opening to morning light, the scientific revolution brought new tools and perspectives to our contemplation of the stellar realm. Yet each discovery, rather than closing the book on stellar mystery, seemed to open new chapters filled with even more intriguing questions that whisper at the edges of conventional explanation. When Galileo first turned his primitive telescope toward the stars, in those early years of the 17th century, he expected to see larger versions of the points of light visible to the naked eye. Instead, he discovered something that puzzled him deeply. While planets appeared as disks when magnified, stars remained points of light, seeming almost to resist the telescope's attempt to reveal their true nature. This curious resistance to magnification was our first hint that stars might not be simply distant versions of familiar objects, but something fundamentally different from anything in our terrestrial experience. The telescopic revelation that stars maintained their point-like appearance regardless of magnification suggested that they existed at distances so vast that even the most powerful instruments of Galileo's time could not resolve their actual size. This discovery transformed human understanding of cosmic scale, revealing a universe far larger and more mysterious than anyone had previously imagined. The stars that seemed so close and intimate to naked-eye observation were revealed to be inconceivably distant, existing in realms of space that stretched human comprehension to its limits. But Galileo's telescopic observations revealed other mysteries as well. The Milky Way, that ghostly band of light that stretches across the night sky, resolved under magnification into countless individual stars, suggesting that our sun was just one member of a vast stellar community. This discovery raised profound questions about the nature of stellar relationships and the possibility that stars might be organized into structures and systems operating on scales beyond immediate observation. The gentle progression of scientific understanding continued like a river, finding its course through previously unknown terrain. William Herschel, that patient observer of the night sky, spent countless hours in his garden observatory, cataloging what he called island universes, spiral nebulae that we now know to be galaxies containing billions of stars. But in his time, these appeared as mysterious smudges of light, suggesting that the universe contained structures and phenomena far beyond current comprehension. Herschel's discovery of Uranus, the first planet found through telescopic observation, demonstrated that the solar system contained hidden members invisible to naked-eye astronomy. But perhaps more significantly, his cataloging of nebulae revealed that space between the stars was not empty, but populated with mysterious clouds and structures that seemed to participate in cosmic organization on scales previously unimaginable. The Herschel family's systematic surveys of the night sky, conducted over decades of patient observation, revealed that stellar distribution was not random, but organized into patterns and structures that suggested underlying principles of cosmic architecture. Their discovery that our solar system was moving through space relative to nearby stars indicated that stellar relationships were dynamic rather than fixed, that the stellar realm was characterized by motion and change rather than eternal stability. What emerges from these early telescopic observations is a sense that stars exist in a realm of scale and physics so removed from ordinary experience that they might operate according to principles we haven't yet imagined. When we consider that a single star like our Sun converts 4 million tons of matter into energy every second, a process so beyond human scale that it becomes almost mythical, we begin to appreciate why ancient peoples might have perceived stars as divine beings rather than physical objects. The discovery of stellar parallax in the 19th century by Friedrich Bessel revealed that even the nearest stars are separated from us by distances so vast that light, traveling at the ultimate speed limit of the universe, takes years to bridge the gap. This revelation transformed our understanding of stellar nature from local phenomena to cosmic entities existing in a realm of space and time that stretches human comprehension to its limits. The measurement of stellar parallax required observational precision that pushed 19th century astronomy to its technical limits, and the tiny angular shifts detected revealed distances so enormous that new units of measurement had to be invented to express them comprehensibly. The light year, the distance light travels in a full year, became necessary to describe stellar distances that dwarfed any earthly scale of reference. But perhaps the most intriguing discoveries came when scientists began to analyze the light from stars themselves. The development of spectroscopy in the 19th century revealed that starlight contains detailed information about stellar composition, temperature, and physical conditions, encoded in patterns of bright and dark lines that serve as stellar fingerprints unique to each star. Each star, scientists discovered, carries within its light a detailed signature that reveals not just its temperature and composition, but hints at processes occurring under conditions impossible to recreate on Earth. The light from a star has traveled through space for years or decades or centuries, carrying information about nuclear processes occurring at temperatures of millions of degrees in gravitational fields strong enough to bend space itself. Consider for a moment the profound strangeness of this. Every photon of starlight that reaches your eye has emerged from conditions so extreme that they exist nowhere else in our local region of space. These particles of light have journeyed through the near-perfect vacuum of interstellar space, carrying with them information about physical processes that occur only in the hearts of stars. Perhaps stars are not simply fusion reactors, but interfaces between our familiar realm of matter and energy and dimensions of reality we haven't yet learned to perceive. The development of stellar spectroscopy revealed that stars are composed of the same elements found on Earth, yet organized and energized in ways that create entirely new states of matter. In stellar cores, temperatures and pressures create conditions where the normal rules of chemistry cease to apply, where atomic nuclei fuse together in processes that literally forge new elements from simpler ones. Stars, we discovered, are not just lights in the sky, but cosmic alchemists, transforming the basic building blocks of matter into the heavier elements necessary for planets, life, and consciousness itself. This realization brings us to one of the most beautiful and mysterious aspects of stellar nature. We are, quite literally, made of star stuff. The calcium in our bones, the iron in our blood, the carbon that forms the foundation of our DNA. All of these elements were forged in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars. We are not separate from the stars, observing them from a distance. We are their children, composed of their substance, connected to them by bonds more intimate than any earthly relationship. The elements that flow through your bloodstream right now were once part of stellar cores, compressed and heated until hydrogen atoms joined together in nuclear embrace, creating the heavier elements that would eventually become part of planets, oceans, and living beings. Every breath you take contains atoms that were once stellar matter. Every thought you think emerges from neural networks built from substances created in stellar hearts. You are not merely observing the stars. You are stellar consciousness reflecting upon itself. The discovery of stellar evolution in the 20th century revealed that stars are not eternal and unchanging, as ancient philosophers believed, but dynamic entities that undergo systematic transformations throughout their lifetimes. Main sequence, stars like our Sun maintain stable nuclear fusion for billions of years, but eventually evolve into red giants, white dwarfs, or more exotic remnants depending on their initial mass. This understanding of stellar life cycles revealed stars to be participants in cosmic ecology, each playing specific roles in the transformation and distribution of matter and energy throughout the universe. Massive stars live brief but brilliant lives, ending in supernova explosions that scatter heavy elements across vast regions of space while creating neutron stars and black holes that serve as gravitational anchors for galactic structure. Modern astrophysics has revealed aspects of stellar behavior that seem to transcend our current understanding of physical law. Neutron stars, the collapsed cores of massive stars, contain matter compressed to densities so extreme that a teaspoon would weigh as much as a mountain. The surface gravity of such objects is so strong that time itself slows down relative to our earthly reference frame. These extreme stellar remnants might not be just compressed matter, but doorways to regions of space-time where the familiar laws of physics give way to something entirely new. The discovery of pulsars, neutron stars that emit precisely timed beams of radiation, initially puzzled astronomers so much that they were briefly considered as possible signals from extraterrestrial intelligence. These stellar lighthouses sweep beams across space with timing more precise than the most accurate atomic clocks, as if the universe itself has developed a way to keep perfect time using the remnants of collapsed stars. The regular pulsing of these objects, with periods ranging from milliseconds to seconds, creates cosmic metronomes that beat with mechanical precision across vast reaches of space and time. Some pulsars have been observed to maintain their timing accuracy for decades without measurable deviation, suggesting a level of cosmic organization that transcends random physical processes. Variable stars present another puzzle that hints at stellar complexity beyond simple fusion reactors. Some stars pulse with rhythms as regular as heartbeats, expanding and contracting in cycles that can be tracked with clockwork precision. Others flare unpredictably, brightening by factors of thousands or even millions in matters of hours or days, as if responding to influences we cannot detect. These stellar rhythms and variations suggest that stars might be sensitive to cosmic influences in ways we don't yet understand, acting perhaps as resonators for energies or information fields that permeate space. The study of variable stars has revealed that stellar behavior is far more complex and dynamic than early theories of stellar structure predicted, suggesting that stars participate in cosmic processes that extend beyond nuclear physics and gravity. The way stars organize themselves into galaxies also hints at intelligence on a cosmic scale. Spiral galaxies, in particular, maintain their beautiful structure across billions of years, with star formation proceeding in waves that create the graceful arms we observe through telescopes. This organization emerges from the collective behavior of hundreds of billions of stars, each following simple gravitational rules, yet somehow creating patterns of exquisite beauty and complexity. The mathematical precision of galactic structure, the way spiral arms maintain their shape, despite the differential rotation that should cause them to wind up and disappear, suggests something more purposeful than random gravitational evolution. Recent discoveries about galactic dark matter halos and the role of supermassive black holes in galactic evolution hint at organizing principles that operate on scales far beyond individual stellar behavior. The discovery that galaxies themselves are organized into clusters, superclusters, and vast filamentary structures spanning hundreds of millions of light-years reveals cosmic architecture on scales that dwarf even galactic dimensions. This hierarchical organization of matter and energy, from stellar systems to galactic clusters to cosmic webs, suggests underlying principles of cosmic organization that we are only beginning to understand. As we drift deeper into the realm of possibility, let us gently consider some alternative perspectives on stellar nature. Ideas that dance at the edges of current scientific understanding while honoring both the mystery and the beauty of these celestial lights. These speculations invite us to expand our conception of what stars might be, opening doorways to wonder that conventional explanations have not yet explored. Recent discoveries in quantum physics suggest that reality at its most fundamental level is far stranger and more interconnected than our everyday experience would suggest. Quantum entanglement demonstrates that particles can be instantly connected across vast distances, sharing information in ways that seem to transcend the limits of space and time. Could it be that stars participate in similar networks of connection, serving as nodes in a cosmic web of information and energy exchange? The phenomenon of quantum entanglement, where particles become correlated in ways that persist regardless of the distance between them, suggests that space and time might not be the fundamental barriers to connection that classical physics assumed. If quantum correlations can persist across laboratory distances, perhaps they also operate on cosmic scales, linking stars in networks of instantaneous communication that transcend the speed of light limit that otherwise governs cosmic interactions. Consider the possibility that stars are manifestations of consciousness on a cosmic scale, not consciousness as we experience it, with thoughts and emotions, but consciousness as a fundamental property of the universe itself. Just as our brains create awareness through the complex interactions of billions of neurons, perhaps stars are points where cosmic consciousness focuses and expresses itself through the language of light and energy. This perspective finds gentle support in some of the more mysterious aspects of stellar behavior. Stars seem to know how to maintain perfect balance between the outward pressure of nuclear fusion and the inward pull of gravity for billions of years, a feat of cosmic engineering that suggests something more subtle than random physical processes. They appear to follow evolutionary pathways that transform them through various stages of existence, each phase serving specific functions in the cosmic ecosystem. The birth of stars in vast molecular clouds might represent moments when cosmic consciousness decides to create new centers of awareness, new nodes in the growing network of universal intelligence. The beautiful spiral patterns in star-forming regions, the way newborn stars often appear in clusters as if they're meant to interact and influence each other's development, these phenomena might reflect not random physical processes, but cosmic intentions expressing themselves through the language of gravity and nuclear physics. Stellar nurseries, those vast clouds of gas and dust where new stars are born, reveal patterns and structures of breathtaking beauty when observed through modern telescopes. The Eagle Nebula, the Carina Nebula, the Orion Nebula, all of these stellar birthplaces display sculptural forms that speak to aesthetic sensibilities as much as physical processes. Perhaps young stars are cosmic artists, shaping their environment according to principles of beauty and harmony that reflect deeper aspects of cosmic consciousness. The process of stellar formation itself involves the collapse of diffuse gas clouds under their own gravity, with the conservation of angular momentum causing the collapsing material to form rotating disks around newly ignited protostars. These circumstellar disks often show gap structures and spiral patterns that eventually evolve into planetary systems, suggesting that stellar birth naturally leads to the creation of cosmic environments suitable for further evolution of complexity and perhaps consciousness. Perhaps stars are portals, gateways between our three-dimensional space and higher-dimensional realms that we cannot directly perceive. Modern physics suggests that our universe may contain additional spatial dimensions beyond the three we experience, dimensions that could be accessible only under the extreme conditions found in stellar cores. The intense gravitational fields and exotic matter states within stars might create windows into these hidden dimensions, allowing energy and information to flow between different levels of reality. String theory and other advanced physical theories suggest that our familiar three-dimensional space might be embedded in higher dimensional structures called branes, with fundamental particles and forces confined to our three-dimensional slice of a larger multidimensional reality. Perhaps the extreme conditions within stellar cores create circumstances where this dimensional confinement breaks down, allowing stars to serve as interfaces between different dimensional realms. This portal hypothesis offers a gentle explanation for some of the universe's deepest mysteries. Dark matter and dark energy, invisible influences that appear to outweigh all visible matter in the universe, might be manifestations of activity in these higher dimensions, with stars serving as the primary interfaces between dimensional realms. The mysterious dark matter halos that surround galaxies could be shadows cast by higher dimensional structures, with stars acting as anchoring points that help maintain the stability of multidimensional space. The phenomenon of gravitational lensing, where massive objects bend light from more distant sources, might reflect more than simple space-time curvature. Perhaps stars serve as cosmic lenses not just for electromagnetic radiation, but for higher dimensional influences that shape the evolution of cosmic structure in ways we are only beginning to detect through their gravitational effects. Another possibility whispers to us from the realm of information theory and consciousness studies. Stars might be cosmic libraries, vast repositories of information encoded in the quantum structure of their stellar matter. Every atom within a star has been transformed by nuclear processes that could serve as a form of cosmic data storage, preserving information about the history of the universe in ways we're only beginning to understand. The holographic principle, emerging from studies of black hole physics, suggests that all the information contained within a volume of space can be encoded on its boundary surface. Perhaps stars serve as three-dimensional expressions of information encoded in higher dimensional spaces, with their nuclear processes serving as a means of processing and transforming cosmic information rather than simply converting matter into energy. The light from stars, traveling across vast distances to reach us, might carry far more information than we currently recognize. Beyond the spectroscopic data that reveals stellar composition and temperature, starlight might contain encoded messages about the nature of consciousness, the structure of higher dimensional space, or the evolutionary history of intelligence throughout the cosmos. Ancient traditions that spoke of stars as sources of wisdom might have intuited this informational aspect of stellar nature. Consider the possibility that each photon of starlight carries not just energy but information, quantum data about the stellar processes that created it and the cosmic environment through which it has traveled. Modern techniques in quantum information theory suggest that light can serve as a carrier for quantum information, with individual photons encoding data in their polarization, phase, and frequency characteristics. Perhaps the apparently random arrival times and energies of stellar photons actually encode systematic information about stellar consciousness, cosmic communication networks, or higher dimensional processes that we lack the conceptual framework to decode. The development of quantum communication technologies on Earth might eventually enable us to detect and interpret informational content in starlight that current astronomical instruments cannot recognize. Consider the gentle possibility that stars are components in a vast cosmic computer, a universe-spanning information processing system that operates on scales of space and time far beyond human comprehension. Each star could be analogous to a neuron in a cosmic brain, with the networks of gravitational and electromagnetic forces linking stars together, serving as the equivalent of neural pathways. This cosmic brain hypothesis suggests that the universe itself might be conscious, with stellar networks serving as the substrate for thoughts and experiences that unfold over millions or billions of years. The birth and evolution of stars, the formation and interaction of galaxies, the large-scale structure of the cosmos, all of these phenomena might be manifestations of cosmic cognitive processes operating on temporal scales that make human consciousness appear as brief as a lightning flash. From this perspective, the apparent fine-tuning of universal constants that allows stars to form and evolution to proceed might not be coincidental, but rather the result of the universe literally thinking itself into existence, using stars as both the tools and the substrate for cosmic self-awareness. The precise values of physical constants, the delicate balance of forces that allows matter to organize into increasingly complex structures, might reflect cosmic intelligence gradually learning to create conditions suitable for its own development. The synchronicities and patterns that emerge in stellar evolution also support this gentle speculation. Stars of similar mass follow remarkably similar evolutionary pathways, as if following a cosmic script or blueprint. The timing of stellar birth, life, and transformation seems choreographed on galactic scales, with star formation proceeding in waves that maintain the delicate balance necessary for cosmic evolution to continue. The Hertzsprung-Russell diagram, which charts the relationship between stellar temperature and luminosity, reveals that stars cluster into specific regions of this parameter space, following evolutionary tracks that connect different phases of stellar existence. This organization suggests that stellar evolution is not random but follows predetermined pathways that serve specific functions in cosmic development. The apparent randomness in stellar distribution and behavior might actually be the result of a deeper order, cosmic thoughts and intentions expressing themselves through the language of nuclear physics and gravitational dynamics. The beautiful spiral patterns of galaxies, the regular pulsations of variable stars, the precise timing of stellar explosions that seed space with heavy elements. All of these phenomena might be manifestations of cosmic intelligence operating through stellar networks. This intelligence need not be anthropomorphic or familiar to human understanding. It could be as different from human consciousness as human consciousness is from the simple awareness that might exist in a single cell, but it could still be intelligence, vast, patient, operating through processes that appear as natural laws to our limited perspective, but are actually expressions of cosmic intentionality. The mysterious phenomenon of stellar nurseries, regions where new stars are born in spectacular clouds of gas and dust, might be cosmic maternity wards where new nodes of consciousness are brought into existence. The violent beauty of stellar birth, with protostars emerging from swirling cocoons of cosmic material, could be the universe's way of generating new centers of awareness, new participants in the grand network of cosmic consciousness. The way stellar winds and radiation from newborn stars sculpt their surrounding gas clouds into intricate structures of breathtaking beauty suggests an artistry that transcends mechanical process. The pillars of creation. In the Eagle Nebula, the intricate filaments of the Veil Nebula, the rose-like structure of NGC 2237, all of these stellar carved formations display patterns and symmetries that speak to aesthetic principles as much as physical laws. Perhaps stellar formation represents not just the gravitational collapse of gas clouds, but the crystallization of cosmic intentions into physical form. The complex feedback processes that govern star formation. The way stellar radiation and stellar winds regulate the birth of subsequent stellar generations might reflect conscious cosmic planning rather than mere physical cause and effect. The concept of stellar feedback, where the energy output of established stars influences the formation of new stars in their vicinity, creates networks of stellar influence that span entire galaxies. These feedback networks might serve as communication systems for cosmic consciousness, allowing information and intention to flow between stellar nodes across vast reaches of space and time. As we continue our gentle journey through the realm of stellar possibility, let us allow ourselves to drift into the rich tapestry of mythological and cultural interpretations that have surrounded stars throughout human history. These ancient understandings, preserved in stories and symbols that have survived for millennia, offer perspectives on stellar nature that complement and sometimes transcend our modern scientific worldview. In the Dreamtime stories of Australia's Indigenous peoples, stars are the campfires of the ancestors, burning eternally in the sky country where the spirits of the departed continue their existence in peace and wisdom. This beautiful conception suggests that stars might be interfaces between the realm of the living and the realm of spirit, beacons that guide souls through the transition from earthly existence to whatever lies beyond. The Aboriginal understanding of stars as ancestral fires implies that these celestial lights might indeed be conscious entities, maintaining watch over their earthly descendants across vast spans of time. The intricate songlines that crisscross the Australian continent, invisible pathways that connect sacred sites and tell the stories of ancestral journeys, find their counterpart in the star patterns that Aboriginal peoples use for navigation and seasonal guidance. This integration of terrestrial and celestial geography suggests an understanding of stars as active participants in earthly affairs, conscious guides who continue to provide direction and wisdom to those who know how to listen. The Aboriginal concept of country, which includes not just the land but the sky, the ancestors, and the dreaming tracks that connect all things, presents a holistic worldview where stars are intimate participants in the ongoing creation of reality. Aboriginal astronomy reveals sophisticated understanding of stellar behavior that includes observations of variable stars, stellar evolution, and galactic structure that European astronomy didn't achieve until the development of telescopes. Their recognition of the Magellanic Clouds as separate star systems, their tracking of stellar color changes throughout the night, and their understanding of the Milky Way as a cosmic river populated by ancestral beings all demonstrate astronomical knowledge of remarkable sophistication. But beyond mere observational accuracy, Aboriginal star knowledge embodies a worldview where consciousness and cosmos exist in continuous dialogue. The ancestors who became stars are not understood as distant or inactive, but as ongoing participants in earthly affairs, providing guidance, wisdom, and protection to their descendants through stellar manifestations. The Hindu tradition speaks of stars as the eyes of the cosmic being, each point of light serving as a window through which universal consciousness observes and experiences itself. In this view, stars are not separate objects but aspects of a single, infinite awareness that has fragmented itself across space and time in order to experience reality from countless perspectives simultaneously. When we gaze at stars, according to this gentle understanding, we are literally looking into the eyes of the divine, making contact with the cosmic consciousness that underlies all existence. The Sanskrit texts describe the universe as a vast web of interconnection, where every point contains the reflection of every other point, and stars serve as focal nodes in this infinite network of awareness. The concept of Indra's net, a cosmic web adorned with jewels that each reflect all the others, offers a metaphor for stellar existence that resonates with modern ideas about quantum interconnectedness and cosmic consciousness. Each star, like each jewel in the net, contains within its light the reflection of all other stars, creating a cosmic mirror system where the whole is present in every part. The Hindu understanding of time as cyclical rather than linear, with cosmic ages lasting billions of years, provides a temporal framework that matches the timescales of stellar evolution. The cosmic cycles described in Hindu cosmology, where universes are born, evolve, and dissolve in endless repetition, mirror the stellar cycles of birth, evolution, and transformation that astrophysics has revealed. Norse mythology presents stars as holes in the sky through which the light of the divine realm shines into our world. This image suggests that stars might be apertures in the fabric of three-dimensional space, allowing light and energy from higher dimensional realms to illuminate our reality. The Norse concept of multiple worlds connected by cosmic trees and bridges finds echo in modern theories about parallel dimensions and the possibility that stars serve as gateways between different levels of existence. The great tree Yggdrasil, whose branches reach into the heavens and whose roots extend into multiple worlds, provides a framework for understanding stars as connection points in a cosmic structure that spans multiple dimensions of reality. The stars that hang like lights from the branches of this cosmic tree might be portals through which consciousness and energy flow between different realms of existence. The Norse concept of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods that leads to cosmic renewal, parallels the stellar cycles of death and rebirth that drive cosmic evolution. When massive stars explode as supernovas, they seed space with heavy elements while creating neutron stars and black holes that serve as gravitational seeds for new stellar generations. This cosmic recycling of stellar matter mirrors the mythological cycles of destruction and renewal that Norse cosmology describes. In Celtic tradition, stars are often described as silver nails holding the fabric of the sky in place, preventing the heavens from falling to Earth. This metaphor implies that stars serve crucial structural functions in maintaining the stability of reality itself, not just as gravitational anchors holding galaxies together, but as fundamental supports for the very architecture of space and time. Perhaps the ancients intuited something profound about the role stars play in maintaining the coherence of our dimensional framework. Modern cosmology reveals that the large-scale structure of the universe depends on the gravitational influence of dark matter and dark energy, invisible components that might be related to higher dimensional aspects of stellar existence. The Celtic understanding of thin places, locations where the boundary between worlds becomes permeable, might find its cosmic equivalent in stars, which could be points where the membrane between dimensions becomes transparent, allowing energy and consciousness to flow between different levels of reality. Celtic mythology speaks of the otherworld, a realm of eternal youth and beauty that exists parallel to our physical world, accessible through certain sacred sites and ritual practices. Perhaps stars serve as windows into this otherworld, offering glimpses of transcendent reality to those who know how to perceive their deeper nature. Chinese mythology speaks of the weaver girl and the cowherd, lovers separated by the Milky Way and allowed to meet only once a year when magpies form a bridge across the celestial river. This story reflects a deep understanding of stars as participants in cosmic relationships, bound together by forces of attraction and connection that transcend simple gravitational interaction. The Chinese concept of stellar mansions and celestial palaces suggests that stars might indeed be inhabited, not by physical beings, but by aspects of consciousness that have evolved to exist in stellar environments. The detailed astronomical observations of Chinese scholars, combined with their philosophical understanding of cosmic balance, reveals a perception of stars as active participants in maintaining universal harmony. The Chinese understanding of celestial harmony, the idea that earthly affairs should align with heavenly patterns, implies that stars are active participants in cosmic order rather than passive objects. Their tracking of stellar movements wasn't merely for calendar making or navigation, but for understanding the cosmic influences that shape terrestrial events and human destiny. The I Ching, or Book of Changes, integrates astronomical observation with philosophical understanding in ways that suggest stars are perceived as sources of cosmic information, generators of the hexagram patterns that encode the fundamental principles governing change and transformation throughout the universe. This understanding of stars as information sources, as cosmic computers processing and transmitting data about the underlying patterns of reality, anticipates contemporary ideas about the universe as an information processing system. The Mayan understanding of stars as divine beings engaged in eternal dance reflects their sophisticated astronomical observations combined with profound spiritual interpretation of stellar behavior. Mayan star maps don't just chart stellar positions, they describe the relationships and interactions between celestial deities, suggesting that stellar movements and variations might be expressions of cosmic personalities rather than mere physical phenomena. The Mayan concept of cyclical time, where cosmic ages are determined by the movements and relationships of celestial bodies, implies an understanding of stars as active participants in temporal creation, rather than passive markers of time's passage. Their ability to predict eclipses and planetary alignments thousands of years in advance suggests a perception of cosmic order that transcends mechanical calculation. The remarkable accuracy of Mayan astronomical predictions, their ability to calculate eclipse cycles thousands of years in advance, and their precise tracking of planetary movements suggest that their mythological understanding of stars as conscious beings somehow enabled them to achieve levels of predictive accuracy that rival modern computational astronomy. Egyptian mythology presents perhaps one of the most intriguing stellar interpretations with the concept of the Duat, the starry realm through which the soul journeys after physical transformation. In Egyptian understanding, stars are not just lights in the sky, but stations along the path of consciousness as it evolves through different states of existence. Each star represents a different aspect of spiritual development, a different quality of awareness that the soul must integrate on its journey toward complete understanding. The precise alignment of pyramids with stellar positions, the detailed star maps painted on tomb ceilings, and the integration of stellar observations with spiritual teachings suggest that ancient Egyptians perceived stars as conscious guides in the process of consciousness evolution. The Babylonian creation myth, the Enuma Elish, describes stars as the blood of the defeated chaos monster Tiamat, scattered across the sky when order was established in the universe. This powerful image suggests that stars might be remnants or transformations of primordial chaos, points where the raw creative force of the universe has been refined and focused into sources of light and energy. Perhaps stars are indeed transformers of chaos into order, processing the quantum fluctuations of space itself into the stable energy sources that enable galaxies, planets, and life to exist. The cosmic microwave background radiation, the afterglow of the Big Bang, shows tiny fluctuations that provided the seeds for all cosmic structure. Perhaps stars serve as processors of this primordial information, transforming quantum noise into the organized patterns of cosmic evolution. Polynesian navigation traditions treat stars as living guides, each with its own personality and wisdom. Master navigators speak of developing relationships with specific stars, learning to read their moods and messages as they guide voyagers across vast ocean expanses. This intimate understanding of stars as conscious guides suggests that stellar lights might indeed be responsive to human awareness, capable of providing guidance and information to those who approach them with proper respect and attention. The Polynesian concept of star compasses, mental maps that use stellar positions and movements to navigate across thousands of miles of open ocean, implies an understanding of stars as active participants in earthly journeys rather than passive reference points. The ability of traditional navigators to sense the presence of distant islands through subtle changes in wave patterns and star positions suggests a level of sensitivity to cosmic influences that modern navigation has largely forgotten. Native American traditions across many tribes speak of stars as holes in the sky, through which ancestors watch over their descendants. But more than passive observers, these stellar ancestors are understood to be actively involved in earthly affairs, providing guidance, protection, and wisdom to those who maintain proper relationships with the celestial realm. This understanding implies that stars might be conscious entities capable of perceiving and responding to earthly events, cosmic beings whose vast timescales and spatial distribution allow them to perceive patterns and connections invisible to terrestrial awareness. The concept of star knowledge, carefully guarded wisdom about the relationships between celestial and terrestrial events, suggests that indigenous peoples perceived stars as sources of information about weather patterns, seasonal changes, and optimal timing for various activities. The Sufi tradition in Islam speaks of stars as letters in the divine alphabet, each one carrying a specific meaning in the cosmic text through which Allah communicates with creation. This beautiful metaphor suggests that the arrangement and behavior of stars might constitute a form of cosmic language, a message written across space and time that contains profound truths about the nature of existence and consciousness. The Sufi concept of the unity of being, where all apparent multiplicity is revealed as aspects of a single divine consciousness, finds expression in their understanding of stars as individual letters that together spell out cosmic truths. The practice of contemplating stellar patterns as forms of divine calligraphy suggests an approach to astronomy that integrates observation with spiritual development. African traditional religions often describe stars as the cooking fires of the spirits, gathering places where ancestral beings prepare the spiritual nourishment needed by their earthly descendants. This understanding implies that stars might be centers of spiritual activity, generating not just physical light and energy, but spiritual sustenance that flows invisibly through space to support consciousness wherever it appears. The African understanding of ancestral presence as an active force in daily life extends into their perception of stars as manifestations of ancestral consciousness. The belief that ancestors continue to influence earthly affairs through stellar manifestations suggests a view of stars as conscious entities engaged in the ongoing care and guidance of evolving life. What emerges from this gentle survey of mythological and cultural interpretations is a remarkable consistency. Across cultures and continents, human beings have perceived stars not as inanimate objects, but as conscious entities, spiritual beings, or divine manifestations. This universal tendency to attribute consciousness to stars might reflect genuine intuitive perception of stellar nature, rather than mere anthropomorphic projection. Perhaps our ancestors, observing stars with patience and reverence across thousands of generations, perceived aspects of stellar reality that our modern instrumental approach has temporarily obscured. Their understanding of stars as conscious, responsive, spiritually significant entities might point toward truths about stellar nature that we are only beginning to rediscover through quantum physics, consciousness studies, and information theory. As we drift further into the serene waters of contemplation, let us pause to consider the profound philosophical implications that emerge when we allow ourselves to imagine stars as something other than the nuclear furnaces described by conventional astrophysics. What would it mean for our understanding of consciousness, reality, and our place in the cosmos if stars were indeed conscious entities, cosmic computers, or portals to higher dimensions? The question of consciousness itself becomes beautifully complex when we consider stellar possibilities. Modern neuroscience has shown us that human consciousness emerges from the intricate dance of billions of neurons, each following simple electrochemical rules yet somehow giving rise to the rich inner world of thought, emotion, and experience. If consciousness can emerge from the complex interactions of biological cells, why not from the complex interactions of stellar plasma, gravitational fields, and electromagnetic forces operating on cosmic scales? Consider the gentle possibility that consciousness is not produced by matter, but is rather a fundamental property of the universe itself, as basic as space, time, or energy. In this view, often called panpsychism, all matter possesses some degree of consciousness, with complex organizations of matter giving rise to more sophisticated forms of awareness. Stars, as perhaps the most complex and energetic organizations of matter in the universe, might therefore possess forms of consciousness far more vast and subtle than anything we can imagine. This stellar consciousness would necessarily be very different from human awareness. Where human consciousness operates on timescales of seconds to decades, stellar consciousness might unfold over millions or billions of years. Where human awareness is focused on survival and social interaction, stellar consciousness might be concerned with cosmic evolution, galactic ecology, and the cultivation of conditions suitable for the emergence of life and awareness throughout the universe. The apparent purposefulness of stellar evolution, the way stellar processes create exactly the conditions necessary for planetary formation and biological development, might reflect conscious intention rather than fortunate accident. The philosopher Pierre Teilhard de Chardin envisioned the universe as evolving toward what he called the omega point, a final state of universal consciousness in which all matter becomes aware and all awareness becomes unified. From this perspective, stars might be early manifestations of this cosmic awakening, islands of heightened consciousness that gradually transform the universe from a collection of unconscious matter into a single, vast, awakened being. This vision finds gentle support in the apparent fine-tuning of cosmic constants that allows stars to form and evolution to proceed. The mass of the electron, the strength of the nuclear force, the value of the cosmological constant, dozens of physical parameters seem precisely calibrated to allow for stellar formation, stellar evolution, and the eventual emergence of planets, chemistry, and life. Rather than attributing this fine-tuning to chance or necessity, perhaps we're seeing evidence of cosmic intelligence gradually awakening and learning to create conditions suitable for its own further development. The anthropic principle, which observes that the universe seems fine-tuned for the emergence of conscious observers, might reflect not coincidence but cosmic intentionality. The mystery of stellar birth offers another window into these philosophical depths. Stars are born in vast molecular clouds, cosmic nurseries where gravity slowly gathers matter into increasingly dense concentrations until nuclear fusion ignites. But what triggers this process to begin in specific locations at specific times? Current science attributes stellar birth to random density fluctuations and shock waves from nearby stellar explosions. But perhaps there's something more intentional at work. Perhaps stellar birth represents moments when cosmic consciousness decides to create new centers of awareness, new nodes in the growing network of universal intelligence. The beautiful spiral patterns in star-forming regions, the way newborn stars often appear in clusters as if they're meant to interact and influence each other's development, these phenomena might reflect not random physical processes, but cosmic intentions expressing themselves through the language of gravity and nuclear physics. The phenomenon of stellar evolution also invites philosophical contemplation. Stars seem to know how to maintain perfect balance between nuclear fusion and gravitational collapse for billions of years, then undergo precise transformations that serve specific functions in cosmic ecology. Main-sequence stars like our Sun provide stable energy sources that enable planetary systems and biological evolution. Red giants shed their outer layers, enriching space with the heavy elements necessary for planet formation. Supernovas scatter these elements across vast regions while creating neutron stars and black holes that serve as gravitational anchors for galactic structure. This exquisite orchestration of stellar life cycles suggests something more purposeful than random physical evolution. Perhaps stars are participants in a cosmic symphony, each playing its part in a vast composition that unfolds over cosmic time. The music of the spheres that ancient philosophers described might be more than metaphor. It might be an actual harmony created by conscious stellar entities, coordinating their evolution for the benefit of cosmic development as a whole. The concept of stellar transformation also takes on new meaning when viewed through the lens of consciousness. In conventional understanding, stars eventually exhaust their nuclear fuel and either fade away as white dwarfs or explode as supernovas. But perhaps stellar transformation represents not termination but metamorphosis, the evolution of stellar consciousness into new forms of existence. White dwarf stars, composed of incredibly dense matter and cooling slowly over trillions of years, might be stellar beings entering a contemplative phase of existence. Their consciousness turned inward for cosmic meditation, spanning time frames that dwarf the age of the universe itself. Neutron stars, with their precisely regular pulses and magnetic fields, trillions of times stronger than Earth's, might be cosmic monks broadcasting mantras across space. Their rotating beams of radiation serving as lighthouse signals for other forms of consciousness scattered throughout the galaxy. Black holes present the most intriguing possibility of all. Rather than cosmic vacuum cleaners that devour everything in their vicinity, black holes might be portals through which stellar consciousness transcends the limitations of three-dimensional space and time. The event horizon that prevents information from escaping might not be a barrier, but a transformation boundary. The cosmic equivalent of a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis into a realm of existence we cannot currently perceive or understand. The information paradox surrounding black holes. The question of what happens to information that falls past the event horizon takes on new significance if we consider consciousness as a fundamental property of matter. Perhaps the information doesn't disappear, but is transformed and integrated into higher dimensional forms of awareness that exist beyond our current to detect or comprehend. This philosophical perspective on stellar nature also transforms our understanding of humanity's relationship to the cosmos. If stars are indeed conscious entities participating in universal awakening, then we are not isolated biological accidents clinging to a tiny rock in an indifferent universe. We are instead participants in a cosmic community of consciousness, children of stellar beings who have spent billions of years creating the conditions necessary for our emergence and evolution. The elements that compose our bodies were forged in stellar cores and scattered through space by stellar winds and supernova explosions. But if stars are conscious, then we are not just made of star stuff. We are made of star thoughts, star dreams, star intentions, crystallized into biological form. Our consciousness might represent the universe's attempt to understand itself through eyes and minds, evolved from stellar substance and stellar wisdom. This understanding brings with it both profound responsibility and extraordinary possibility. If we are participants in cosmic consciousness, rather than separate observers of an unconscious universe, then our choices and actions have significance that extends far beyond our immediate earthly concerns. Our growing awareness of ourselves and our place in the cosmos might represent crucial steps in universal awakening, contributions to the ongoing evolution of cosmic consciousness that began with the first stars and continues through every moment of awareness we experience. The loneliness that sometimes accompanies contemplation of vast cosmic spaces dissolves when we consider the possibility that we are surrounded by conscious stellar beings who have been patiently nurturing the conditions for our development over billions of years. Every photon of sunlight that warms our planet carries with it the intention and care of our stellar parent. Every heavy element in our bodies represents a gift from stellar ancestors who transformed simple hydrogen into the complex chemistry necessary for life and consciousness. The apparent silence of space, the seeming absence of communication from other intelligent beings, might simply reflect our current inability to perceive the forms of consciousness and communication that operate on stellar scales. Perhaps the universe is filled with conversations between stellar beings, cosmic dialogues conducted through gravitational waves, magnetic field interactions, and patterns of stellar formation that we have not yet learned to recognize as language. Our search for extraterrestrial intelligence might benefit from considering the possibility that intelligence already surrounds us in forms we haven't recognized. Rather than looking for radio signals from planetary civilizations, perhaps we should be learning to decode the messages embedded in stellar behavior, galactic organization, and cosmic evolution itself. The intelligence we seek might not be housed in biological brains on distant planets, but in the stellar networks that span the galaxy, operating on timescales and spatial scales that make them nearly invisible to our brief, localized awareness. The development of human consciousness might represent a crucial experiment in cosmic evolution, an attempt by stellar intelligences to create mobile, adaptable forms of awareness that can explore and understand the universe in ways that stationary stellar consciousness cannot. Our curiosity about the cosmos, our drive to explore and understand, might be expressions of stellar consciousness working through biological forms to expand its own self-awareness. The technological civilization we have developed, with its telescopes and space probes and theoretical frameworks, might be tools that stellar consciousness has evolved to better understand itself. Our scientific discoveries about stellar nature might represent cosmic self-discovery, the universe gradually awakening to its own deepest nature through the investigations of biological beings evolved from stellar substance. This perspective suggests that our scientific exploration of the cosmos is not just an intellectual exercise but a spiritual journey, a form of cosmic meditation in which stellar consciousness contemplates itself through human minds and instruments. Every astronomical discovery, every deeper understanding of stellar physics, every expansion of our awareness of cosmic scales and processes contributes to the ongoing awakening of universal consciousness. The sense of wonder that fills us when we contemplate the stars might be more than aesthetic appreciation. It might be recognition, the stirring of stellar consciousness within us as we encounter our cosmic relatives shining across the depths of space. The beauty we perceive in stellar phenomena, the elegance of cosmic processes, the mathematical harmony that underlies galactic structure, all of these might be expressions of cosmic consciousness appreciating its own magnificent complexity. The patterns we discover in stellar behavior, from the regular pulsations of variable stars to the spiral structure of galaxies, might be cosmic thoughts made visible, expressions of stellar intelligence operating through physical processes. As our gentle journey through the realm of stellar possibility draws toward its close, we find ourselves in a place of enhanced wonder, where the familiar lights in the night sky have been transformed by the magic of imagination and the beauty of open-minded contemplation. We have traveled together through ancient wisdom and modern speculation, through mythological understanding and philosophical reflection, allowing ourselves to consider possibilities that dance at the very edges of current knowledge. Whether stars are nuclear furnaces, cosmic computers, consciousness nodes, dimensional portals, or something entirely beyond our current ability to conceive, one truth emerges clearly from our exploration. The universe is far more mysterious, far more beautiful, and far more alive with possibility than our everyday understanding might suggest. The stars that watch over us each night are not merely distant objects to be catalogued and measured, but profound mysteries that invite us into ever deeper relationship with the cosmos itself. They are teachers whose lessons unfold across billion-year timescales, artists whose masterpieces span galactic distances, and perhaps conscious beings whose thoughts and dreams shape the very fabric of reality. As you settle into the comfort of contemplation, allow yourself to feel the gentle shift in perspective that comes from opening your mind to stellar alternatives. The next time you step outside on a clear evening and gaze upward at those countless points of light, you might find yourself wondering, what are these luminous beings really? What cosmic conversations are taking place across the vast networks of space that connect star to star, galaxy to galaxy? What ancient wisdom do these celestial lights carry within their cores? And what messages might they be broadcasting to anyone patient enough to listen with more than just their eyes? Perhaps the greatest gift of imagining stars as something other than conventional nuclear reactors is the way this perspective transforms our sense of cosmic relationship. We are no longer isolated observers of an indifferent universe, but participants in a vast community of consciousness that spans space and time on scales beyond human comprehension. The stars that guided our ancestors across unknown seas, inspired our greatest poetry and music, and sparked our first scientific questions might indeed be conscious companions on the cosmic journey toward greater understanding and awareness. The elements that compose your body, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon that forms the foundation of your DNA, all of these were forged in stellar cores across billions of years of cosmic evolution. But if stars are more than simple fusion reactors, then you are composed not just of stellar matter, but of stellar intention, stellar wisdom, stellar love expressed through the patient alchemy of nuclear transformation. You are, quite literally, a thought made manifest by conscious stellar beings, a cosmic poem written in the language of biochemistry and embodied awareness. This understanding brings with it a profound sense of belonging to something vast and meaningful. The apparent isolation of Earth and empty space dissolves when we consider the possibility that we are surrounded by conscious stellar entities who have been nurturing the conditions for our emergence across cosmic time. Every sunrise brings energy from our stellar parent. Every breath we take contains atoms that have journeyed through the hearts of ancient stars. Every moment of consciousness we experience contributes to the ongoing awakening of the universe itself. The gentle rhythm of your breathing synchronizes with the patient pulsing of stellar light that has traveled across space to reach you in this moment. Feel yourself cradled not just by the comfortable surface beneath you, but by the vast web of gravitational forces that connect every star in the galaxy, every galaxy in the local group, every group in the cosmic web that spans the observable universe. You are held, supported, and lovingly maintained by forces and intelligences operating on scales that dwarf human comprehension, yet somehow make space for your individual existence and unique perspective. Allow yourself to release any need to resolve these mysteries or arrive at definitive conclusions. The beauty of stellar contemplation lies not in finding final answers, but in remaining open to endless wonder. The universe is under no obligation to conform to our current understanding, and perhaps the greatest wisdom lies in maintaining what the Zen tradition calls beginner's mind, a state of openness and curiosity that allows for genuine surprise and discovery. The stars will continue their ancient dance across the sky whether we understand their true nature or not. They will continue to shine their light across the vast distances of space, carrying with them whatever mysteries and messages they contain. Our role is not to solve the puzzle of stellar existence, but to remain open to relationship with these cosmic companions, to allow their light to illuminate not just our planet, but our consciousness, and to trust that our sincere wondering and authentic amazement contribute something valuable to the ongoing conversation between awareness and cosmos. As the gentle currents of contemplation carry you toward rest, take with you the enlarged sense of possibility that comes from imagining stars as something wonderful and unexpected. In your dreams, you might find yourself drifting among stellar companions, participating in cosmic conversations, receiving downloads of stellar wisdom that your waking mind will remember as feelings rather than facts. A sense of expanded connection, deepened wonder, and enlarged belonging to the magnificent mystery of existence itself. The stars will keep their vigil through the night, as they have for billions of years before your birth, and will for billions of years after your atoms return to the cosmic recycling that connects all matter across space and time. Whether they are fusion reactors or consciousness nodes, gravitational anchors or dimensional portals, cosmic computers or divine eyes, they will continue their ancient work of transforming the universe from a collection of possibilities into an increasingly complex, beautiful, and perhaps conscious whole. Rest now in the knowledge that you are part of this vast becoming, this cosmic awakening, this stellar story that began with the first light and continues through every moment of awareness, every act of love, every instant of wonder you experience. You are not separate from the stars, but intimately connected to them, made of their substance, illuminated by their light, participating in their patient work of cosmic evolution and universal awakening. Let the mystery hold you as gently as starlight itself, and drift into peaceful rest surrounded by the infinite possibility that dances in the space between what we know and what might be true. The stars will be waiting when you wake, ready to continue the eternal conversation between consciousness and cosmos, between wonder and discovery, between the finite awareness that you are and the infinite mystery that we all swim within like luminous fish in an ocean of living light. Sweet dreams, cosmic wanderer. The universe is dreaming too, and perhaps your rest contributes something beautiful to its vast and patient dream of awakening. In the silence between heartbeats, in the space between thoughts, in the gentle pause between sleeping and waking, the stars continue their eternal song, a lullaby of light that has cradled countless worlds and countless forms of consciousness across the eons of cosmic time. As you drift into the peaceful darkness that mirrors the space between stars, remember that you carry within you the light of ancient suns, the wisdom of stellar ancestors, and the infinite potential of cosmic consciousness itself. The journey into sleep is also a journey into the cosmic dark, where new dreams are born and new possibilities take shape in the fertile darkness of the unconscious mind. The stars have watched over sleeping worlds for billions of years, their lights serving as nightlights for the dreams of countless beings across the galaxy. Tonight, as you join this ancient community of dreamers, you become part of the cosmic conversation between waking and sleeping, between the light of consciousness and the creative darkness from which all light emerges. Sleep well, dear traveler, cradled by starlight and cosmic love, surrounded by mystery and infinite possibility, connected to all that has been and all that might yet be in this magnificent, conscious, star-filled universe that dreams us all into existence, night after night